Hello, what's up rock stars? Welcome to my first spoken video as well as my studio. Speaking of which, in several occasions quite a few of you have asked for info and details about my setup and my workflow, whether I'm recording guitars, creating presets or shooting videos, etc. So I figured the easiest and quickest way would be to show you around and see what we got. Are you ready? Alright, let's check it out. Okay, let's start from this side. CDs, drawers for tools and storage, more storage space, and a workbench where I set up pedal boards and stuff like that. This is the guitar stand where I place the instrument I'm using on the current project I'm working on. And then I got pedals. More pedals, as well as a couple old rack units I haven't used in ages. Next, it's the amp corner, with a bunch of amps I only use for recording. More on the subject later. In the opposite corner, a rack shelf with more guitars as well as empty cases, more storage drawers, and the knee drum kit I use for pre-productions and demos for clients. I'm no drummer by any means, but in most cases I can get the job done much faster than browsing through hundreds of MIDI files. This is the camera I use when I make videos, clearly not using it now. And finally, here's the desk, the heart of my studio, or in the studio really. I kinda drew inspiration from the studio tour of Tim Pierce, where he basically has everything set up within reach and ready to go. I find that very inspiring, especially when you're working on a project and you want to focus on getting the best sounds straight away, as opposed to wasting time patching cables between pedals, amps, etc. Let me explain how the setup works. There are two main brains. The first one is my old switchblade GL. This is the switching system I used to use live before the fractal era. It's great because it lets you patch any of 16 inputs into any of 16 outputs, and I can change the routing from its editor no matter where the units are patched in the back. The second brain is the latest addition to my setup. It's the N-Audio 8x7 amp and cap switcher. Like the name suggests, it allows me to send 8 amps to 7 cabs with an insert for an attenuator to any amp engaged. It's super quiet, reliable, safe, and very easy to use. And as a matter of fact, all my amps are virtually connected to the Torpedo Captor X, where I assign the matching cabinets for each amplifier. And of course I can reprogram the Torpedo with its editor to change the cap presets if I ever wanted to. Let me give you an example. So now we're on box AC30 number 1, that one back there. Now I switch to the Fender Deluxe, and as you can see, the Torpedo app automatically switched to the matching cabinet I assigned to it. Same goes for the Marshall Duo Super Lead. Or Marshall Mini Jubilee. And the Mini JCM 800. thanks to these two units, which are MIDI controllable, I can use this cool device called Stream Deck to send the guitar signal to any combination of amps, XFX3, FM9, FM3, and insert effects chains before or after any of the above at the touch of a button without touching one single cable. Speaking of effects, I have 3 effects chains in 3 different loops. One is my current pedal board, although it changes all the time. One is rack shelf number 1, mostly loaded with overdrives, fuzz boxes, and effects I will normally place before the amp. And rack shelf number 2 is for effects I will generally place in the effects loops or after the amp, like delays and reverbs, as well as a couple universal audio amp simulations. This chain is stereo, and so is the eventide Eclipse. And of course I can add stomp boxes for my pedal board before the amps. And I can add the eventide Eclipse after the amps. Same thing goes with the fractals. I can bypass the amps and select XFX3 or FM9, which happens to be on the same preset. Or FM3. The outputs from the fractal processors and the torpedo are connected to the Focusrite octopre. This allows for 8 additional XLR inputs on my RME Babyface Pro, which is my main audio interface, through ADAT. This means that I can record the signal from any fractal unit and a real amp on separate tracks. This is particularly useful when I have to make demos for my preset packs, as I can record all fractal processors on separate tracks with one single performance. On the floor, I have an FC12 controller and a Mission EP1 that I use when I make video demos for my preset packs. And finally, last but not least, the cables. All the main connections between the switchblade and the effects processors, amplifiers, cabs, as well as the ones from the audio interface to the speakers, are made with reference cables. Reference is the cable. It's made in Italy, and Angelo, the founder and owner, was kind enough, or crazy enough I should say, to drive all the way down here to let me test his cables and pick the ones I like best based on budget and needs. We spent a couple hours testing the different instrument cables he makes, as well as XLR cables, speaker cables, even power cables. And all I can say is, wow, you should have seen my face, really. It was something like this. Seriously, the difference they make, especially in a studio environment, is so impressive. It's hard to explain, but without getting too technical, you literally get a couple extra dBs, almost as if you were running some kind of line driver between your instrument and the rig. And Angelo was so kind to surprise me with a couple custom guitar cables with my name and Edosounds logo. I guess that's it for today. Let me know if you got any questions in the comments below, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Edo Faiella Music and Edosounds. And I'll see you soon. Ciao carissimi.